sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Andrew David, Blake & Barr's partner program. Today is part 2 of a 2-part series, and we may end up talking about it a little bit more as we get into content advertising, and ads and things on social media, Facebook, Instagram. We're going to end up talking about other content. So it plays into all of this. Now, again, if you're brand new, if you're just kind of figuring out Facebook, you're posting for the first time, this would be kind of next step up. This is next level. Don't get yourself too bogged down with some of the stuff that we're talking about, if you haven't figured it out yet. And that's okay, right? It's all a learning process. We all start somewhere. What I'm doing is sharing with you some branding strategies about the art and science of personal branding. This is some training that I received a few years back when I went to, paid to go to a live event out in Vegas. So it's some training that I received there that I'm sharing with you guys. And I'm going to do a quick kind of 3-minute review of what we talked about yesterday. And these slides, again, they're available inside the Skype group. If you are not a member there yet, Krissa, can you post the link for that? But the slides are there, and then there's a couple of things in there that I've given you guys access to. So to kick off, as a review, going back to the beginning, write down your whole story. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to jump ahead. I want to talk real quick about branding versus marketing. Okay, so these are on the slides, but they're towards the end. I was thinking about it today as I was putting things together, and I wanted to explain the difference between branding and marketing. So branding is about making people feel something. Branding is our message to connect with our audience. So branding is the connection. Marketing is pushing people into action. Branding is the connection. Marketing is about making people do something. Branding is the activation of the brand strategy. So we come up with a strategy. We define what it is. We craft stories that connect with people's emotions. What is our message to them that connects with their emotions? Branding is, designing experiences and content that turn people into fans. Can you hear me? My microphone wire fell out there. Everybody hear me right now? We good?
Yeah, good now.
Yes.
All right. So we craft stories that connect with people's emotions. We design experiences and content that turn people into fans. So by experiences and content, I'm talking about what experience do we create through our stories? Where do we take them with the content that we're delivering? Marketing ensures the right people know about the brand and what we have to offer. So marketing speaks to the mind, branding speaks to the heart. Okay. So quick review there. Branding is about making people feel something. Marketing is about making people do something. Branding is the activation of the brand strategy. Again, guys, all of this is on the slides. So you've got access to the slides. I'll give it to you again, but take down the notes, what kind of stands out from what I'm saying. Branding is activation. We craft stories that connect with people's emotions. We design experiences and content that turn people into fans. Marketing is what we're doing to get it in front of the right people. So marketing is how I'm posting, where I'm posting, the content, or the the platform that I'm using, the frequency, right? The activities that get it in front of the right people and push them to take action. So pushing people to take action is putting things out there to make people have a response. That's kind of the definition of direct response marketing. Okay. So marketing speaks to the mind, branding speaks to the heart. Okay. Any questions on what I just reviewed?
No, makes sense.
That good with everybody? We
Yep.
solid there? Okay, good. Now, to review kind of what we went over, these are questions, activities that you can do. These are on these slides. I'm giving them to you. Please sit down and do it. If you're just getting yourself going, you're trying to get things customized right now, then prioritize that, get yourself launched. This is something you can build out as you go along. You'll tend to understand it more, but go back to the beginning, write down your story. Don't judge yourself, keep it real. I promise you guys are more interesting and more accomplished than you think, but focus on mile markers from childhood. So instead of every single detail, what you want to do is kind of create a timeline and look at some of those key significant points, right? And there will be some things that make you stand out. If you can't find anything, just kind of think back to what was significant in your life, because odds are those elements will stand out to somebody else too. Next, find out what makes you tick. Understand your preferences and your dreams helps you build self-awareness. Take a personality test. And then, make a list of the trigger words. How many of you guys, quick show of hands or anything in the last, and I know I just gave it yesterday, others I had given before. How many of you guys have taken a personality test? Did anybody do it yesterday?
No, I didn't.
Come on, people. Let's go. Some of these are free. You take 5 to 10 minutes. Sit down. It's worth it. If you're scared of kind of looking at yourself, then that's exactly the time you need it.
I have taken one. I just didn't take that one yesterday.
Okay. Well, and that's great. So how long ago was it? Do you remember?
A month ago when we did
Okay.
the first, actually it was when we did the business mastery.
Okay,
Just
perfect.
how we,
If you did it with it, like if you did it within the last kind of 90 days, that's fine. If it's been more than 6 months or something, or longer than 3, I'd recommend doing it again. I do it a few times a year. I'm, just enjoy it. So anyway, more self-awareness. Next, get clear on your strengths and weaknesses. List them out as you see them. List your weaknesses as you see them. Ask those who know. Oh, shoot. I was going to give you guys these videos from Gary Vee. I'm sorry. Let me give these to you. Do this now before I forget. So this is a couple of videos about weaknesses versus strengths, and then kind of living life. This is the one that I warned you about yesterday. So if you watch it, he has a couple of he has colorful language. So anyway, a couple of those videos, I just dropped it into the Skype group. Okay. Next, your values and interests. Values are your personal compass. So writing down. So this is what we've got listed out. Don't edit this, guys. Just kind of, if you want to create your own, you can hit file and you can hit make a copy and it'll make one for your drive. So these are a list of values. Just kind of pick those. I mean, it's not all encompassing. There are others that
Well, I'm on the phone on the call.
there are others that you may add to this. Use it as a brainstorming activity. Rate them on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I'm not living this consistently. Pick 2 that are potentially most out of alignment with your current lifestyle. So I rate these as high on my personal compass. I want them to be a part of my values and interests. It is absolutely something that I recognize as important to me. And here's an easy way of asking this. What's a value or something in your life that if it wasn't there, you would really feel a difference? It would make you sad. You would feel empty about it. What is something that if it wasn't active in your life? So friends, family, a purpose, exercise, food, like whatever, my prayer, my faith, church, my friends. What is it that if it wasn't active in your life would create a significant difference? With that, then I look at it and I go, okay, if it's just barely in my life, what can I commit to? How can I plan on bringing some of these things back into focus? And then try and find an accountability partner that can help with that. All right. So determining your passion. So we kind of go through those. Next, we kind of jump here. So put your passions to work. Which of the underlying passions are most important to you? Pick 1 or 2 of these. So I'm creating my passion, right? Values and passion, a little bit different, but writing these out. Pick 1 or 2. How can you further explore that? And how can your passions form the foundation of your entrepreneurial goals? So what does that have to do with this? All right. So part of this could be your niche. Part of it could be helping small business owners. Part of it, and then actually, this kind of gets into the next thing here. What's your entrepreneurial why? What is it you're fighting for? What keeps you going when getting back up is difficult? What's your true motivation for action? See, some of you guys are struggling because you haven't figured this out. And we've talked a lot about what is your why. I've heard that over and over and over again. Guys, your why isn't more money. That's not a why. What do you want the money for? Well, I want the money because I want to have more time. Well, why do you want more time? Well, I want more time because I'm stressed. Okay. So you don't want stress. So you want to live stress-free. That's great. But what are you going to do? Why is that important? Like, get deeper and deeper and deeper. So Dean and Tony, I think it kind of originated with Dean Graziosi, talk about like that why, and you ask yourself that 7 times and you get deeper and deeper and deeper. Keep asking yourself, well, why is that? Why is that important? What would you do? What else would you do here? That's interesting. Tell me more. Have the conversation with yourself. Define what it is you're fighting for. And now some people go, well, marketing with a digital product, that doesn't mean anything to me. Well, it should. So my son, teaching him to do better than me. That's fantastic. My kids, absolutely. Showing them that it's possible to overcome, that it's possible to change, to grow, and then to affect other people's lives in the same way. How do I do that through marketing? There's all sorts of ways, right? One of my niches I've talked about is addiction recovery. I feel like that's pretty damn important. Everything going on, I get to help. I've been able to spend time learning. And every once in a while I do this. I don't do it all the time, but when I sit down, I'm kind of studying stuff for branding, or I'm looking at what's happening with the different platforms and how to market better on this or that. And I get frustrated about it. I get to stop and go, you know what? No. This facility, Miracle is down in South Florida and this one over there. And I get to go, if I learn this better, I can help them. And if I help them, they can help others. And if those others are helped, then lives change. You guys have the same opportunity with these small businesses, right? You really do. If you can help them generate more revenue for themselves, yeah, you get paid, but they can take care of their families. They can hire more employees. There's other things that can happen, right? If you don't think that marketing or something like this, these skills can make a difference in whatever pathway you're looking at, then you're missing the big picture. Okay. Yeah, 7 levels deep at least. Keep asking why. Scott, absolutely. So as soon as I asked myself that, everything switched for me. Good. Keep asking that all the time. And then look at how you can take your why and connect it to what you're doing, because there is a pathway to doing that. And maybe you haven't sat down and thought about it, but that's what's going to be important. Okay. So what's your big vision for the world? So write a little elevator pitch that communicates your vision. This is important with your branding. Share that stuff once in a while. These are foundational things, these core values, your passions, your why. These are things that you can share consistently with content. It turns into part of your messaging. So what are people going to get by following you or buying from you? Well, I want to help you with your family. Well, how the hell are you helping me with my family? Well, I'm trying to help your business generate more money. If you get more money, you can hire employees so you can actually take that vacation, Bob. You've been running this business for 20 years. You've never taken your wife to Hawaii like you promised. How about you build up a client list? Okay. Then you're going to work on your visual storytelling. Facebook allows for a number of different ways to do this. Instagram allows it, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube. They all do. But your visuals are going to be important. So you want to be consistent, because the way that you treat your brand and your message, the way that you treat what you put out there reflects on the quality of the product and service that you provide. Okay. So if you're putting out images that you just kind of throw together like, oh my God, I got to do something right now, they'll improve, right? So they don't have to be perfect to begin with. Blake always talks about, launching imperfectly. So yeah, Jamie, I'm going to talk about that exactly, but you may have more than one why. Understand, guys, they're not going to be great to begin with, but they'll get better. What I'm saying is, just pay attention to what you put out there and try and make it congruent across everything, right? So you try and maintain some semblance of continuity there. Now, Jamie's asking, so with your branding, with everything, having more than one why. So I've talked about James Lawrence, Iron Cowboy. If you haven't studied him yet, go look. He's got a great documentary on Amazon called the 50-50-50, or just look up Iron Cowboy. You'll find it. You'll find stuff about him. I've had the pleasure of working with him. He's great. And I'm trying to see if I can, anyway, awesome dude. So first time I heard him speak, for those of you who don't know who the Iron Cowboy is, so he's a gentleman who a few years back went and broke the record. He did 30 Ironman triathlons in a year. And up to that point, the most anyone had ever done was like 10 or 12. He did 30. And he was like, that's not enough. So he went out and he decided he was going to do something crazy. He did 50 of them in 50 days across the 50 states. Started in Hawaii, did it there, flew over. I don't know if he landed in Oregon or Washington or whatever, but he started kind of working his way through. And he did all 50 in 50 days across 50 states. And the documentary stories, it's amazing what he did. Well, last year during COVID, he was like, well, I don't feel like the 50 was a true reflection of my capabilities, my endurance, as if 50 Ironman triathlons aren't enough. I don't know about you guys. Like, I've never run a marathon. Running a marathon scares me to, like, I don't know. Anyway, he did 50 triathlons in 50 days across 50 states. And I mean, fell asleep on the bike, broke bones, just did crazy stuff, right? And then he goes, I mean, just to think about the mindset of someone to go, that wasn't a true test of my endurance. Because I had to move around and, I didn't get to really rest in between. So let's see what we can really do. So he decided to do 100 of them in 100 days. From home. So he stayed home. He lives in Utah, lives right down the street from a good friend of mine. He did 100 of them in 100 days. And to celebrate, I told you guys this, to celebrate on day 101, he went out and did another one just for giggles. And day 4, by the way, he had a stress fracture of his shin. Just, for you that's like, oh, I'm a little sore, I'm not going to go work out today. He's like, oh, stress fracture, 97 more of these Ironmen to go. I'm going to keep going. Sure, he had a support crew. Absolutely. I mean, comparing, what's going on, but still impressive as hell. Ultimately, he was the one that had to do it. Nobody carried him, right? Nothing wrong with having a support crew, ladies and gentlemen. And Potato, I know that wasn't what you were saying. Potato's kind of an endurance athlete himself. He's done, he goes out and does 100-mile races, horse races all the time. He's just done some amazing things. If you guys don't know, go Google Potato, one of our members here. Done some really cool things. But yeah, Iron Cowboy, he's got a support team. But at the same time, like running something like that, and I can only imagine, this comes from talking to him and working with him some. You're moving along. And imagine that late night bike ride and, getting done late and it's dark and then needing to still go out and run 26 miles. And if you get to that point, you guys working on your business, going to the gym, your diet, regular work, whatever. How many times did you reach out to someone that's on that support team and you go, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Or I'm frustrated. And instead of saying, what's frustrating you? How can you overcome it? Why is it that you're doing this? Let's keep focused. You can, keep yourself moving. Let's go. How many times have they said, it's all right. You've worked hard enough. You're okay. Don't worry about it. Go back later. And guys, I'm not saying that, James Lawrence kind of went extreme. So I'm not telling you to go out and go do an Ironman right now. But there are those moments where there are absolutely those moments when you need to pull back and you need to say, hey, I need to reset myself. I need to rest. I'm all for, keeping yourself balanced in that way. But there's also those moments where we're capable of a whole hell of a lot more than what we've done. And we just need to push through the frustration, the obstacle, the pressure, the depression, and yes, get help, but there's moments when we can't push more than we do. I think we can all agree on that. There's probably moments that you've already done that in your life, moments that you pushed through when other people would have quit. So recognize some of those. That would be something that I'd put into my overall branding story, those kinds of stories, you know, and then finding a way to create that message and connect with your audience. So anyway, I brought up James, talk about rolling on a tangent. Jimmy saying sometimes you need more than one why. I remember one thing he said the first time I heard him speak is sometimes you need a whole bag full of whys, because the first one's not enough. And sometimes the second one is not enough, where you use it up and you're still going along and you need to ask the question again. Why am I doing this? What is it I'm really after? And you need to go a little bit deeper. Don't ever use your why as an excuse not to do something. Use it as drive and motivation. Keep yourself pushing forward and becoming a better version of yourself every single day. All right. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you these slides. If you haven't done the personality test in the last 90 days, go out and take one, even if it's one of the free ones. If you're, things are moving along, then get into these slides, answer some of these questions for yourself, start using that as content for yourself as you get it out there with branding. Keep your message congruent with everything else that you're doing. Don't be one person over here and another person over there. Okay. Start rolling forward, gain momentum. All right. Tomorrow we will dive in. Lynn, I'll send you an invite, but tomorrow we'll get into some advertising and things. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope everybody got something out of it. Just think a little bit and then pick up and let's have an amazing day. Appreciate you guys. We will talk tomorrow. Take care.
Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.